Good morning, everybody. Tex Homer here. Eric Nalin, Coach Dub. We're going to talk some Arkansas takeaways, and then recruiting's kind of heating up. We're having some potentially fun, potentially not fun, maybe things that could happen in recruiting. So it'll be kind of interesting. This is going to be an interesting kind of stretch until National Signing Day.
Yeah.
Roaster, we just need to start sending you the link, man, and get you on the channel because you're here with us every morning at time. We always appreciate it, man.
Look at Coach going with the flat bill and somehow pulling it off. Too.
Yeah, dude, he's bringing it back, dude.
Something like that.
He's bringing it back. Looking good. All right, so Arkansas, Eric posted an article, and then we'll talk with the chat as well, kind of more on the takeaways. But I think you prefaced it, and I think this is a good way to preface it with you're a defensive guy. So let's, there's a lot of things we can talk about with the offense. We'll get to that. But sometimes we end up talking about the offense's problems and not giving credit to how awesome this defense is. So let's lead with that, the Texas defense. What do you guys think from the Arkansas game with them?
Yeah, I hate hearing that Texas struggled because Texas did not struggle. The Texas offense struggled. The defense was amazing. Arkansas did sustain that one drive, but you could count on one hand how many real drives teams have had when the game was in doubt this entire season.
All right.
And that was one of them. Georgia had one that clinched the game for them. But there have not been a lot of longer drives. This team has been great about getting off, either forcing punts or turnovers, getting off the field. So it's not fair to say Texas is struggling. There's two sides to it, and the defense is playing very well. As I wrote this morning, Source said, the offense is lacking cohesion right now, but he was reluctant to go into more detail.
I thought that was an interesting sentence.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I don't want to talk about it. Like, all right, whatever, man. We can all see it there. Quinn missed some throws that he normally makes in his sleep. He's got muscle memory on some of those throws, and he was just off on some of those. And then, his deep ball was bad. When he missed those throws, by a wide margin, it made me more frustrated that DeAndre Moore dropped that ball last week because that was right in the breadbasket. He's capable of hitting that throw. He just struggles. So it's kind of like as the offense goes, as Quinn goes. When Quinn is on, the offense is extremely good and complements the defense. And when he's off, they're going to have to win it by defense.
Yeah, definitely. And something you wrote, Eric, about they're playing team defense. Like, you never know who's going to make a play. Like, that's the signs of an elite defense, right? At any given moment, it can be somebody else, any given week or any given rep or series. Like, somebody's always making a play, man. That lets you know they're playing on one string, on one accord. Like, they love each other. Like, hey, they have a standard that they have set, and they're living up to it every single game, man. They're elite. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care about schedules, who they play. They're straight up elite.
There were a lot of plays that you saw that, guys got credit for the individual play, but you could see that they were making it because of their teammate. Simmons' sack was because I think of Barron Sorrell, just forcing the pocket, forcing the quarterback to not giving an avenue to leave the pocket. Just a lot of team defense. Leon Lafau overran one, but Ethan Burke was right there to save the day. There's just a lot of. If one guy messes up, the other 10 are doing their job, and they're making each other better. You can see it a lot. You can see that a lot with the pass rush. Barron Sorrell played a really good game. And then, of course, Alfred Collins. I just saw Alfred Collins and Janae Barron. I saw Reese's Senior Bowl tagged me in their tweet, and I saw Collins got co-defensive player of the game of the week. I said, well, he better have split it with Janae. Sure enough, the next tweet is Janae Barron. So it's a really good defense when guys on it are splitting National Player of the Week.
Yeah, and like, for instance, he smacks the ball out, and Michael Taft is right there to fall on it.
Of course, Taft was right there. If you had to pick one guy that was going to land on it, you knew it was going to be Taft. And how about Alfred Collins, man, making a freaking hustle play? That was that's a play that normally you'll see Vernon Broughton down the field, still staying in the play. But that was, if Alfred Collins is going to combine his natural talent and size and athleticism with hustle like that, watch out.
Yeah, it reminded me of the play he made versus Colorado, like year one of him playing, where he jumped back into the interception.
The screen, yeah,
where you're just like, damn. And like I was telling, I can't remember if it was post game or Sunday after, but you even watch the corners, man. Like in the run, they're not letting people get outside of it. It's just like the whole defense is working together. And most importantly, we have pass coverage, run defense, and pass rush. I mean, it's complete. And it's a top 25 team in the country in all of those aspects. So
they've got the amazing feedback loop. They're getting the force multiplier effect on defense that we're not seeing on offense. Coming into the season, we thought it was going to be, the quarterback would be a force multiplier. The offensive line would be a force multiplier. They haven't been, but the pass rush is being a force multiplier for the coverage. The coverage is being a force multiplier for the pass rush. It's just a terrifically coordinated defense right now. Pete Kwiatkowski's got to be the leader for the Broyles Award. I'm not sure who else would be up there. I got to think about that. I might be writing to check my ass can't cash, but it seems to me like PK would be the leader for that award.
Yeah, I'll stand on the table for him again. Year after year after year, PK's putting these defenses together, guys. And he doesn't politic and he's not out there. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't seem interested in the limelight. If he politicked a little bit more, people would know, because you'll hear the broadcast talk about this explosive Texas offense. And it's like, if you guys don't start talking about the defense, I'm going to forget. This is a defensive team right now. We have to adjust our mindset here that winning is likely going to come from the other side of the ball than we thought.
Fine by me.
I'm with it.
I want both sides.
Me too. But I just love watching good defense when they're playing fast. Man, it's fun to watch.
It is, man. Shout out PK, Nance, and everybody on that side of the ball, man. The DB coaches who had to wear it for 3 years, but they're feeling good and vindicated.
We got to go back in time to the offseason conversations we were having about those defensive back coaches. I was sticking up for them. I said, hey, it was really the last safety room was really the last to be addressed on the entire team as far as a full roster rebuild. And we're starting to see, hey, maybe Blake Gideon can coach. And now that, Terry Joseph has Janae Barron at corner with Malik Muhammad, apparently he can coach too.
Yeah, it turns out having NFL players really can help out there.
Yeah,
did you get to circle back with the one source that told you don't worry about the Arkansas game?
No, I haven't talked to him. I should, right? Because he was right. He was right, at least as far as the defense goes. It got a little hairy there in the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter. I was maybe a touch nervous, but that the way the defense played, that's got to be a cover. The offense has to play better. That should have been a comfortable win. Luckily, they had that drive and touchdown when they needed it, though.
Yeah.
And that one thing I want to talk about the defense, man, shutting down Taylon Green like that. I mean, you saw no run from him. I mean, and then Taylon Green's up and down. Don't get me wrong; he makes a lot of mistakes, but I mean, they just totally took him out of that game. He was a total non-factor. I thought that was really impressive too.
Yeah,
he was good. They did a good job keeping him in the pocket for the most part, and he wasn't able to hurt him much with his arm. It looked like for a second they might get going. Him and Armstrong, number 2, made a play or two on Kobe Black, I believe. But for the most part, the defense was sensational.
Yeah, the Armstrong stuff was just like non-consequential. He got some yards, but they were all empty calories. Coach, what do you think?
Calories, yeah. I thought one thing I saw, Taylon's a fast guy. Right when he got outside the pocket and you saw Anthony Hill chase him down, like, you're not going anywhere. It's like, you're playing a different defense today, buddy. Like, everybody can run and get out of you. So.
And that's going to be important, right, for A&M. We want to see us versus running quarterbacks, and we've answered that. We struggled with that in the past. We're not struggling with that with this year. I mean, there's really just like you struggle to kind of look for, like, if you're the opposing team, like, how would you try to beat the Texas defense? And it's just like you can try to run inefficiently. Teams have tried that. It doesn't work for them. You're going to lose. You're only going to score 10 points. You can try to pass. That's not going to work. So it's just like there's really no answers for this defense. And it's not just pure schematic ability. You got NFL talent and scheme and culture. It's like
and experience. That experience on defense is. I mean, the communication. We talk about a lot. The communication in the secondary. Those guys are on the same page. There just are no busts. I'm not worried about Aggie's quarterback. That game is going to be like this last one. It's a race to 11. If Texas can get to 11, they're probably going to win. It might not be pretty. Who cares? Just keep winning.
That one, who cares, dude? Yeah, win by half a point if you can.
I'm with it.
Yep. Just keep controlling their own destiny, man. That's. I think it's a really mature team. We saw them come out and play well. For the most part, it seemed like the offense was there for the taking. The plays were there. I think Sark called a pretty good game. I thought the run game. He probably could have gone with the run game a little bit more. There was one call that we were all bitching about in the group text. Was it that fourth down where they decided to run wide when early in the game it was clear that Arkansas was playing everything heavy to the perimeter.
Yeah,
and they should have just ran downhill. That was kind of a rough call, but for the most part, I think last 2 weeks Sark has done a really good job on offense. It's just Quinn didn't quite reward him.
Yeah, and you see the secret's out now, like crowd the line and attack outside, and but that also worked to our advantage, right? That wide open Quinn touchdown is because they were biting on an outside screen. and being over reliant on
exactly.
it. So it can end up benefiting us too. But teams are kind of hanging around the line of scrimmage and trying to frustrate us that way.
He almost had that again, but the safety kind of came out of nowhere. He missed his window later in the game. And the safety came over. I think Quinn felt like, oh, easy touchdown again, and then the safety kind of came out of nowhere, but he almost had that twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
UT boy.
No Jonte Cook question.
I was gonna say, I was like, UT boys had been going through it, man. Especially because Jonte's going full heel on Twitter now.
God.
So it's not only has he left UT boy, he's being a grumpy little guy right now.
He's burning the bridges too on his way out, huh?
I don't know. Yeah, not wise, man. But you can tell when a young guy's hurt, and like that's kind of the lashing out, when you're 19. It's
called tweeting through it.
It's so transparent. We were all 19, like I'm gonna be tough and make fun of you. It's like, you're embarrassed, man. I get it.
Smartest idea.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. When you're that age, you think everything's going to work out. You pick the school for the right reasons. I mean, you picked the school because of the offense and the scheme, and it's there, and he's not a part of it. I'm sure he's a little hurt by that. But I wish the guy well. I always like dealing with it. But he shouldn't be burning his bridges like that. Create allies, Jonte.
Yeah,
agreed.
And even when whenever he did commit, I was telling people in the group chat that it was funny because whenever you get a wide receiver with that much personality and that much trolling he did leading up to committing, I was like, it can turn south real quick on you too.
Yeah, it's like in hockey when you've got the goon on your team, you love him. When he's on the other team, you can't stand him.
Yeah, dude. And so that's the risk whenever you have any like these like big personality wide receiver types.
Oh,
Quinn is having a good.
My bad.
We'll hit this. Quinn is having a good season, not a great season. PK and defense is having a great season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jahdae Barron, I think, just played the best defensive game since Joseph Osai against Oklahoma State. That game when he had 3 sacks and sealed it with a sack. And then, right behind him was Alfred Collins had a fan. That was maybe the 3rd best game since Joseph. It was just a sensational team play. But, and then Colin Simmons, too. We got to talk about him. He's got 6 sacks and not a lot of snaps. Relative to his snaps, his sack production has been through the roof. And Trey Moore, 3rd game in a row where he was good. So Source felt vindicated with all the hype he was providing in the offseason with the last 3 weeks, how Trey Moore's played.
Yeah, Jahdae is special. And to do that in front of weren't the Thorpe guys there?
Yeah, Justin reported that the Thorpe guys were, I think, on the sidelines. And, he's living up to that number 7, too. We got to start doing our job and getting more hype for him. But
we need to promote him more.
Yeah, we can't. There's nothing we could do to match the Travis Hunter hype train. But
well, we can if Travis Hunter for Heisman.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we can launch 2 campaigns, and then that way they can get.
Let's elevate Travis Hunter to Heisman, and Jahdae can pick up the scraps on the Thorpe.
Is Jahdae having like a Tyrann Mathieu year without the punt returns? Like, because LSU that year had him playing corner nickel, he was blitzing, he was doing everything. Like Jahdae's doing everything he did that year, except
you got to do something novel to get the voters' attention. Hopefully, he gets a big pick 6. What about a pick 6 in College Station, huh?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm with that one.
Yeah, the voters are so. We need to like this crystallized moment. The whole season has to be reduced to one play for us to understand.
Yeah.
Because even Travis Hunter, like you were seeing the highlights he was making last week, but I didn't watch the game. But people were like, if you actually look at his stat line, he had a whatever game. He just had like a couple of solid plays, and we just automatically kind of onto that. And I like Travis Hunter. I'm not hating on him, but I'm more hating on us and how we think about these awards. We'll get to Kenny Baker in 1 second. Good morning, gents. Beat the Wildcats. Hook 'em. Thank you, Drew. Jahdae Barron is my hero.
Mine too.
Yeah.
What a flip that was from Baylor.
Yeah. That ended up big.
Man.
Well, he's just so smart too, man. Like every aspect of the game. I've talked about it, but dude, when he held court at SEC Media Days, he opened up with opening statements like he was a head coach. Like that's insane, dude. And I was like, this kid is special, man. He's just smart. He gets it. He literally spoke to the media. I was like, this guy, after he's done, he can get into politics, whatever he wants to do. Man.
Was he pushing like a Coach product or like a Dasani water or anything?
Yeah, dude, it was cracking me up, dude. Like I was like, this dude is special, and he just gets it. Whatever he does post football, he's going to be successful in as well. Bolden is too bold. Bolden, let that ball go out, man. There was no question that was going to be a touchback.
Yeah, no, that guy had no chance of getting that, and then he only got back to the 15. So that's yeah. That one gave the group chat a heart attack too. But he's a heart attack waiting to happen. You got to love the guy. I wish he had another year.
Dude, his hands are solid, man.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. He's got so much faith in his hands. He's got crazy coordination, hand-eye coordination, but. Yeah. I just hope he gets rewarded for this. He's either going to cost Texas a game at some point, or he's going to win Texas a game at some point. It's that same maniacal mindset. Is how he's the only guy in the world that would have recovered that fumble against OU, and it's because of that trait. So you don't want to slow him down. You don't want to rev him up either. But that was
John Jones in the UFC. They were talking about John Jones back when he was wild, was getting in trouble all the time. Dana White was like, yeah, this wild man style is kind of what makes him great, though. Like, if we try to make him a nice Christian boy, he's not going to be knocking people out left and right. So it's like, it is a fine balance of like, hey, man, like, be safer, but also we don't want to totally take away what makes you special. Did who?
John Jones, did he win?
Yeah,
Didn't he?
Yeah, dude, he caught Stipe with a spinning back kick to the liver and dropped him. It was
really? Okay, I need to find that highlight. All right, I didn't watch that. I had the misfortune of watching that Tyson fight, but the other fights before. Even I hate watching women fight, but those girls.
Dude, that was an incredible fight, though, man. That gash on the eye was crazy, dude.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I don't like watching women fight, but that fight was entertaining. And
the undercard stuff was well worth it, man. It was. Yeah. I don't know what people thought they were getting. I mean, like with Tyson, I mean, everyone was so furious afterwards. It was like, guys, what did we think was going to occur there? Exactly. We thought Tyson was going to. They're like, Tyson, power's the last thing to leave. It's like, what do you need to deliver your power? You need speed. Well, you need speed to get to the power.
He didn't. Yeah, he had no lower body explosion at all. Yeah.
But shout out. But fans like. We got Wolf ticket. Yeah, no, duh. Have you watched any Jake Paul fight that's been? He's not going to fight someone he's going to lose to besides Fury. He tested a real boxer, and then guess what happened? All right, before we keep going, we're going to hit that Kenny Baker question. But first, let's hear from Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
All right. Kenny Baker. Let's give Kenny Baker some love because it is due. How much credit does Kenny Baker get for Alfred's monumental season?
Look,
well, I mean, given the need in recruiting, I would say he gets all the credit. I mean, that's how they should be selling it, right? But I think it's as much as anything, it's financial incentive. Alfred came back to boost his draft stock like T'Vondre Sweat the year before, and Andre, he just has a tremendous wealth of talent. Fantastic combination of size and athleticism. He was born with that. But I think Baker has been given credit by Alfred Vernon in August. I remember both those guys really talking up Kenny Baker's ability to teach the technical, the finer points of technique. So I think Baker does deserve some credit, and surely he's going to need to use that on the recruiting trail. Justin broke last night that Zion Williams was on the phone with Baker for quite a while, so that's a pretty big development. But yeah, I think Baker does get some credit, but let's be honest here, man. Alfred Collins was born that way. He was a freak as a true freshman. He just always lacked consistency. The motor wasn't always there. But credit to him right now, and yeah, give Baker some credit for sure. But it's kind of more of Alfred trying to move up the draft chart.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with giving Baker some credit. Just because you can have everything and have all the tools, but it takes a coach sometimes to kind of just get it out of you, right? And like you said, this is a contract year. He's trying to get drafted, but man, he's listening to Baker. Like they're bought in to whatever he's saying in the classroom and taking it to the field. He's applying, and so he's been consistent this year. So has Broughton, man. So I give Baker some credit with that. And like I said, I would use it on the recruiting trail too. Like, look what I did with these guys, right? They're about to get drafted. Let's go.
Collins is probably going to find his way into the second round. I think Vernon's going to go third or fourth, maybe. So that's going to be a good selling point for Baker. But man, they're going to have to use that on the portal trail as well, not just the high school recruiting trail.
Yeah, if I'm Kenny Baker, it has nothing to do with Alfred Collins. I made him 6'6". I made him 310.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah,
all do.
I was actually the one that played women's basketball at Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not his mom.
Yeah. And so, the real test for Baker, right, is what happens next year, right? Because we're going to
well, I don't know. That's an unfair test because he was left a very poor outlook. They're going to have to now. He's going to have to. If anybody can get anything out of Dre Bledsoe, I will absolutely give Kenny Baker credit if he can do anything there. But yeah, they're going to have to go to the portal, and some of these true freshmen are going to have to play. They got to keep Myron Charles in the class. Myron was at Florida this week, and who knows what that kid's ever going to do. But you got Sharma coming in. I think Sharma's going to be able to play pretty early, so that's good. But yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this season while I can because it doesn't look too bright at D tackle for next year.
Yeah. Back to offense. Why is the O-line not dominating the downhill run? What happened to that attitude of moving people against their will?
I don't know if they lost attitude. I mean, it's just about technique. Sometimes they lock on. They just don't move their feet. Like, it's all fundamental things. It's not like they don't have the attitude. They don't have the want to. It's just technical fundamentals, man. They just, like I said, they don't lock on. They're athletic offensive linemen. They can move sideways and laterally, but you got to move those feet when you block, when trying to go forward and downhill too. So sometimes just kind of watch a film and going back. They just don't move their feet and drive people for 3 or 4 yards, right? They kind of lock on and just kind of stalemate. So it's just things you're not going to really fix during the season. There's going to be some off-season things that you fix and kind of go back over, but they are who they are at this point, man. You just kind of continue to kind of coach them up, and hopefully they understand, hey, you need to move your feet when you make contact. That's really what it is.
Yeah, they they ran the ball pretty well at times. So I actually thought Sark could have ran it even more earlier in the game. But what's this guy saying? Texas had basically choked them out. Where's this comment at?
We had the ball for the 10:38.
Yeah, they on them late in the game.
Yeah, choked them out.
At the end of the game, I thought we did handle it. I didn't know why we didn't. And our offensive line were getting chippy, like talking noise. Like you were seeing some of that, which is what you want. This is this would be really good for culture. We're gonna get Bear and Jaheim Otis in the portal, defensive tackle. We will be good.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, nothing cracks me up more than the recruit, Nick, that'll take anybody based off their high school reputation. I mean, you can't talk about culture all day long like Sark does. Anytime you put a microphone in front of him, he's talking about culture and then go grab Bear. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And they would have taken Bear this past year, honestly. But I think this one, you quit in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and even he was at like 5 high schools in like 4 years too. Like their camp is clearly moving around trying to maximize revenues. And
it's like that map with Indiana Jones where he's in the plane and it's that red line going all over the place.
Yeah.
That was his high school. I think he's at Terrell. Went to
Denton Ryan, which was my school. He's at Denton Ryan for a little while.
Yeah,
then at Fort Worth Brewer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't keep track.
We tried to recruit him to John Paul. I won't even lie. So hey.
Yeah, he was all over the place, man.
Yeah.
Our running backs aren't all the way in sync with the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the offense in general is lacking cohesion. That's what one source said this morning. But yeah, I don't know. All it takes is one good game. They look pretty good against Florida. Yeah, Arkansas does have a good defensive line. You got to give them some credit. Kelvin Banks, I don't think Kelvin Banks had as rough of a game as some other people, but he wasn't getting any help from Ewers at times.
Yeah, some of the Kelvin Banks sacks were not on Kelvin Banks. So it's a little tricky. We'll have to see. I agree. I think it's just we're kind of discombobulated at every level. I don't see us in the run game and the pass game, and from deep to short passing, it's all kind of wonky right now, which is true. Let me see if I missed anything.
These guys got to have more questions. Certainly, they want to know about recruiting or something.
Well, I want to save that towards the end so we don't go all over it because we're going to hit how fun, but we can hit it now. My big question is Jamie French, right? Judson talking about Zion. That's interesting. Myron Charles as well is interesting. So let's kind of talk about those 3 guys right now.
I talked to a Florida contact. He felt like Florida was in a pretty good spot. That's why I wrote that message yesterday that Texas had a fight on its hands. But French called Justin this morning, and so that's a good sign. When guys reach out to the writers of the school, that tells you something. Him and Justin have a pretty good relationship. This thing is just like Ryan Wingo, man. Ryan Wingo picked Texas because that's where his heart was. I think Jamie feels the same way about Texas, even though Florida does make some sense to him. Obviously, they're going to have a good NIL. They've got a bright future at quarterback, not just Lagway, but they have his teammate committed. It's an hour and a half from home. And he knows a lot of guys on the roster. And Napier has a little bit of job security. We don't know how much. But I think his heart's at Texas. And so, Texas is going to have to recruit based on that. And I think I lean towards Texas holding on to him because, again, it does remind me so much of the Ryan Wingo recruitment. But, Texas had to hold off the in-state school on that one too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But also, Eric, you're forgetting he said he's solid to Texas.
Yeah.
So if a recruit says they're solid to a team, why are we even talking? They're solid, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
Every year, huh?
Well, yeah, Florida's not
It
going
cracks
to
me up when the fans are like, ex-player said he's solid. Like, what's he going to say to the media? Like, I'm really flipping on you. Like, of course he's solid to whatever.
All the pressure is going to be on him to flip to Florida. So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I he's a great kid. Again, like Wingo, and so I think he committed to Texas for the right reasons, and we'll see if they can hold on. But that makes the Dalen McCutcheon flip even bigger. And of course, Khalil Lockett is solid, and that's a huge pickup too. So we'll see if they miss French. I'm not sure what they would do. They would need another high school receiver.
French is good on the mic, like Barron.
Yes,
another like smart, likable kid.
He is.
I like French. I hope he sticks because I really like his game and I like him as a person. Coach.
Yeah, shoot, he's going to be. Yeah, they need
special.
He's special. He's a chaotic mess out on the field. He's just 100 miles an hour. I love the way that guy plays.
So do I. Coach, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was like, look, give them credit. Everybody's trying to flip somebody. Signing day is a few weeks away, right? We're trying to do the same thing to other teams. So, okay, Florida, you made your pitch or maybe your last ditch effort. Texas is trying to do the same thing with other kids. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast with recruiting. But I feel like his heart's with Texas. I can't speak for the kid, but I want to catch balls from Arch Manning, right? I think I've said it. And so, the future is bright with a Manning at the helm. And so I think overall, Sark is still an offensive genius, and you got Arch Manning coming up, regardless of having a teammate at Florida or Vernell Brown, the other guy, former teammate that he knows at Florida. Arch Manning is just the key for me in my mind, right? And he wants to fit in there. His opportunity at Texas, too, his freshman year. So why not?
Yep.
Yeah, what about Myron Charles? We know that he's, decommitted from Florida State, came to Texas. Seems like he's open to kind of hearing pitches. So
my buddy, he said the same thing we were talking about with Bear with high schools. He said, Myron Charles is going to play for 4 colleges, right? And I go, I don't know how it's all going to end up. Hopefully, if Texas can get him, they keep him bought in and all that. But I'm not sure. But we've talked about that recruitment since I think May. I was saying, man, it doesn't matter what happens in the summer. They're going to have to keep. Texas is going to keep recruiting whether or not they get him or somebody else gets him. And that's the quintessential recruit through the whistle recruitment. I haven't heard anything about him flipping. So, that's a good sign so far. I should probably check back on that one again today. But nothing would surprise me in that recruitment. Anybody that's been following that one is not surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything on Zion besides what Justin posted?
I think him and Baker have a pretty good relationship. Obviously, that was the trump card for LSU was Bo Davis.
Right.
Yeah.
But, man, that kid just does not remind me of an LSU kid. He's always reminded me of a Texas kid. The kid's playing Santa Claus. He's He's in theater. Yeah, I mean, he's like LC. He's a theater kid. So I don't know how that's gonna fold. They got to get him on campus this week. I wrote another board note yesterday that this is going to be a very big visit weekend. Texas is shooting for they're shooting for the stars. They're trying to get a bunch of committed kids. They're trying to get a bunch of kids that are committed elsewhere on campus. A bunch of high-level kids. They're going hard for this weekend. So, we'll see who all shows up. I'm looking forward to covering this weekend from a recruiting standpoint as much as team.
What do you think of Cade Phillips getting that 5th star? Anything there, or we just need to move on?
Hey, man, look, I knew for a fact that Texas is reaching out. So his 5th star is very deserving. This is where I'm kind of watching his senior year's film, and he's playing terrific right now. And it's also important to note, like, Texas is recruiting him at the corner. He's showing on film that he can play corner. And so if they're listening, we'll see. But I know Texas is reaching out, and they're not not blocking the calls, right? They don't have Texas defensive staff's number block. So you just got to continue to swing and see what happens there. And like I said, signing day is a few weeks away. And like, hey, just continue to shoot your shot, all right? Because anything can happen. And LSU is definitely helping on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Texas was able to flip Jalen Gilbo back, a few years back. I'm wondering, maybe they've got a little more magic up their sleeve there. Did you say you got a 5th star?
Yeah,
from On3.
Just saw.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Well, okay. We love the track kids. He's a long kid. He's sudden, pretty sharp. Let's see. Texas is all in on him at corner. There was some for a brief time or for a while they had a safety evaluation on him, but they're all in on him at corner. We'll see. Maybe if they can get him on campus. LSU. I mean, come on, then that defense doesn't look any better to me. With Baker there now, and I don't know that Corey Raymond is anywhere close to the guy he once was.
Is this BK's 3rd year?
Who?
Brian Kelly. Is this his 3rd year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's your 3rd year, man, we're not seeing uptrends. Like you should be questioning what's going on there.
They had their standard early season loss. We got to give. I'll always give some love to Sorrell, one of my favorite players on the team, culture guy. We expected a big game out of him because of Arkansas's play style, and he definitely delivered.
Just been a solid, reliable source, just all season.
Yeah, a tremendously reliable person and player. It's going to play the run. I'll be curious to see where he gets drafted. I think the NFL would want a little bit more sack production out of him, but man, you got to stop the ball, and he's really good setting the edge. And he's going to crush the interview process.
Oh yeah, his mental eval is going to be 100%. All right, before we keep going, y'all, let's hear from Laura Baker.
Hi, I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512 or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call.
That Ian line takes me out every time, man.
Yeah.
My wife is like, why are you guys always giving Ian the business? Because he can handle it.
And Ian, people don't get it. Ian's probably the most confident of the group.
No,
Ian's unshakable in his principle and everything. Like people think Raz and Ian, it's like you guys don't know. Ian is mentally a giant.
He is the most mentally gangster guy we've got. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's cold-blooded. People don't know. Hit that like button, Longhorn Nation. I agree. Thank you, Tito, for that. My favorite player on the team is Michael Taft. I'm glad that we don't have to do our PR campaigns for Taft anymore like we had to in the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah.
He was getting the white guy ding early on in the season.
It was all that hate that guy was receiving that made me realize how good he was because I had to watch him a lot closer. It was the Baylor game last year. Everybody's blaming him for, Ryan Watts getting beaten quarters covers. I'm like, what the hell? You blaming Taft for this? Then I started realizing, damn, this guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah. You think he'll go pro? Do you think he'll test into pro?
I think he's going to be quite curious to see what the NFL has to say about him. I think he needs 10 more pounds. If that kid weighed 205 pounds, he would go in the top 40 picks. But he's a little slight, and those guys, man, those running backs, every running back in the league has a truck stick. And the way he plays coming downhill in the alley, I don't know how it's going to go, man. But he'll be great in coverage. He's going to be the cerebral football player he is in college. That's going to translate day one in the pros. I tend to think he's going to come back and just improve his draft grade and hopefully put on a little weight. That guy, I could see that guy really wanting to finish out his career at Texas. But guys that have a chip on their shoulder, the first chance they get to go prove everybody wrong again, they're going to take it sometimes. So I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at his numbers, they're better than the last Thorpe Award winner from last year from Air Force. Like,
Yeah,
he's
comparing
balling out.
somebody on IT compared his numbers to Caleb Downs, and he had Caleb Downs covered up. Tapp is just a flat out good football player. It's hopefully they can get him back. He comes back. But, there's a number of guys that are going to be real curious about their draft grade. Matthew Golden is one. It's all going to come down to draft grade for some of these guys.
Yeah. Is something wrong with Wingo? He has not really been getting targets the last couple weeks. Well, he's behind Bond position-wise, right?
Yeah, getting Bond back kind of took some of that. But they've got to – I think they've just got to make a concerted effort to get that guy involved. He should get 5 targets a game, in my opinion. But there's only one football. But, hitting him on some high-percentage throws would make a lot of sense for everybody involved, right? It would help out with Quinn. All that guy, you never know when Wingo's going to break a tackle. I thought he was going to come down with that tip ball.
So did I.
He almost caught that thing 3 times. It was a difficult play to make, but he came close. I think they should be getting him involved, make a concerted effort every week. But yeah,
I want to see too. I don't feel like we've been effective in getting Bond the ball. I think we've been really good with Golden. But I want to get Bond way more involved in the offense here. But we're struggling to hit downfield. You're kind of struggling to hit downfield for whatever reason.
Weapons, man.
yeah.
It's a little tricky. He'll get drafted like Jay Witt did last year. He has a ton of intangibles. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm down with him coming back. I would love for him to come back. You get him back. You get Malik back. I mean, you get some important parts returned in the secondary, which I think is good because we have a lot of experience. But the problem with experience is it can switch up real fast the next year.
Golden.
Let's see. As long as Coach Davis is coaching defensive tackles, LSU will have one of the best defensive tackle coaches in football. Nonetheless, I wonder if LSU's problems on the field impact Walter Mathis, Brandon Brown, or Zion Williams.
Brown is, I think, tied at the hip to Davis. That's why he committed there. Pretty much Zion too. Walter, Texas has a pretty decent relationship with Mathis and his father, but I'm not sure it's strong enough for the flip. It doesn't matter if he doesn't come in for the Kentucky game. You can write these guys off. They've got to get guys in for Kentucky. So the visitor list this Saturday is going to tell us a whole lot about where the class is going to go.
Thoughts on whom portal targets should be? Running back, defensive tackle. Yeah, that's a good start.
Absolutely, D tackle. They're loading up for Bear. They know that they've got to spend on D tackle. Running back, ideally they'd get a bigger guy. There's one interesting name out there that will blow up the internet if he ever gets in the portal at running back. And I would expect Texas to go after this guy. I'm not going to put his name out there and blow him up, but
Jerome Bettis.
That would be interesting. Texas has played a number of good running backs this year that you'd much rather see them in the good guy uniform.
We've been joking. I've been scouting every running back we play all season.
Even that ULM running back was good.
Yeah, the freshman.
Yeah, I think they'll probably have to go for another DB. Texas does not like to go into the season lacking experience, and so any place that's going to missing experience, they'll address it in the portal. I imagine linebacker, maybe wide receiver, depending on what Golden does. If Golden leaves, they might have to go for the portal. Offensive line, don't sleep on offensive line either. Yeah. I've been saying for a while, this is the first year I expect them to go portal shopping for O linemen.
What do you say every week, Connor? Everybody's on audition for Texas, right? You like the freshman running back at Florida.
Receivers.
Kentucky guys have an extra year of eligibility after this year.
Oh,
go after
man,
that D lineman. Look,
I wish that Jaden Bobcat would get in for sure, but they'll keep him bought in.
Dude, every wide receiver, if they score like 2 touchdowns on us, I'm like, congratulations, you are a Texas Longhorn.
Yeah,
because we've seen Sark do that. Whenever we were playing Mississippi State, Mario Craver for Mississippi State, I was like, you got what it takes, Craver. We'll see you in the burn orange sooner or later. Texas needs to sustain drives better and actually run more plays during games. Each of Gunnar Helm, Ryan Wingo, and Isaiah Bond need to have more targets each game. I agree.
Man, the disconnect on Gunnar Helm was terrible, man. Quinn missing him and then Gunnar dropping it. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that one.
A couple of times.
Something wrong with the ball, man. Gunnar doesn't drop passes.
Execution was off. And it's frustrating because the offense had a really good week of practice and they came out and did that. But
I'm taking less and less stock in offensive week practice performances.
Well, I mean, it comes down to the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else can do their job, and if he's off, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's but so like, what is going on in like, is Quinn just dropping dimes, man? He's just like hitting deep shots left and right. Like, I get what's confusing the sources about like a Quinn performance in practice. You know, like, is he hitting all these shots?
I mean, there's nothing confusing about what he does in practice is what he does in practice. That's what we're.
Yeah, but like, is he hitting? He's hitting deep shots regularly.
Well, a lot of times, no, I wouldn't say. I've never written that he's hitting deep shots regularly. No, he's usually a lot more accurate and more consistent. But a lot of times he's going up against a scout team defense, and that's a little bit different than going up against Landon Jackson and Gregory and those other guys. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know if I could solve it. Sark would probably pay me some money to come and talk to him.
Yeah, Sark, we got you. We know you're watching, man. We're gonna get this figured out for you, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's watching, getting ready for his press conference here.
Yeah, he is, dude. Yeah. We always give him the game plan, and then he goes and tells the team, "This is how we're gonna face Kentucky." We're a huge part of his strategy every week. Do y'all think Sark is holding back for playoff games? Just doing enough to get Texas into the postseason? Seems like Texas doesn't have the explosiveness we all expected. No, I do not think he's holding anything back.
No, I think some games he's going to go in with a plan. Like Vanderbilt, we saw a really remedial game plan. I think sometimes he goes into the week, doing enough to win that game, but I don't think overall he's holding stuff back. Look at all the new plays he unveiled against Florida. Yeah, so I don't think he's doing anything. If anything, you want to get the offense playing more confidently, so you'd be breaking out all the bells and whistles.
Right. I don't think nobody would be saying much, especially if they were connecting and everybody's, has consistent offense and everybody was executing. Nobody was saying anything about the offense, right? Just all about execution at the end of the day. So I don't think it lacks explosiveness or anything else. It's just guys need to execute because a lot of times the plays are there. You just got to execute.
Yeah, it's the Vanderbilt game was frustrating because it feels like we weren't throwing deep. This game, it's like we were throwing deep. We just couldn't hit anything, That was kind of a difference. Will this be the biggest portal class yet?
I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but probably. I've heard from sources that they got to go big. They know they got to go big. Look at all the guys they're losing. They're going to have another 10, 11 guys drafted. So, yeah. And it's also, they're not going to want to waste an Arch Manning year. People are going to be heavily invested on building this team back up as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Facts. Homer has scouted all opponent running backs for potential flips. Yes, I have. If Texas could add Kevin Wynn and Walter Mathis to their current two defensive tackles, Sharma and Charles, they would have the program's best defensive tackle class in Longhorns recruiting history.
I'd have to go back and look at it, but that might be right. I haven't taken many classes that big. I think the 2016 class had about 5 or 6 busts in it. Yeah. Oh man, Walter Mathis is a fun one to watch. That guy plays with his hair on fire. And then Wynn is like I said, he's like a Zamboni that can move in all different directions. He's a big, wide kid. He's still committed to Florida State, right?
Yeah, he is right now.
Jeez, man, tells you a lot about him.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Hey, fellas, there's been a lot of negative opinions about Quinn going around. In my opinion, there's been a lot put on his shoulders this year without a running game like past seasons. What's y'all's thoughts? Real quick, I'll jump in. I keep hearing we don't have a running game. We're 49th in the country, guys. We're not 100th in the country in running game. We have an above average running game. It's not a Bijan running game. It's not a Jonathan Brooks running game. But this narrative that our run game is so bad we can't possibly get over it, I'm having trouble with. There's plenty of quarterbacks with the 50th ranked running game that can still move the ball too.
Well, you saw, I don't know. He had to take things into his own hands and ice the game.
Yeah, he did. Let everybody know about it too.
Yeah. I think I haven't heard much criticism of Quinn outside of whatever we write on Inside Texas. So I don't really know what the sentiment is out there, but I don't think we've been unfair to him.
I think he's talking globally, like
Twitter
world. There's people calling for Arch, which is reactionary, and so there's that kind of side to it. I think he's addressing kind of the Twitter sphere right now.
Yeah, I think I think Quinn is deserving of some criticism, but he's also deserving of praise too. You know, you just gotta be fair and nuanced. You know, it's not one or the other. It's not he's playing great or playing terrible. It's, you know, he's up and down a little bit too much. He's a little too inconsistent, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. You know, him being in the third year, I don't know how many times I mentioned that I was expecting by far his best season, and I think there's been times he's been really good and times he's been, you know, not great, but for the most part, I think he's been average relative to his ability. You'd like to see just more consistency. I can't explain how he missed some of those throws that he's always made on Saturday. It was just, you know, something's off, and I don't think it's the oblique or ab or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of feels like the season's going to be tied to how well he plays and how well Sark can navigate other teams' defenses with him together. It's kind of, you know, those two guys are tied at the hip. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but luckily they got a great defense.
Yeah. What do you think?
That's the quarterback at Texas, man. It's like being a quarterback of a pro team, a national pro team, just in college, man. Like, he's going to take it. He's going to take some heat. He's going to get the praise. He's going to also get the negativity. So it kind of comes with the job at Texas, though. When it hasn't not any quarterback through history at Texas.
He's good about blocking that stuff out too. You know, it's that stuff's not going to get in his head or bother him. Yeah, he's a little bit more mentally strong than I think people give him credit for. But yeah, I think the frustrating thing is that, you know, the arm talent is there, and it's, you know, you want to see it fully unlocked. We haven't seen that enough. And then, you know, when he does drop a perfect throw, sometimes he's not being rewarded either. Like DeAndre Moore one. DeAndre had 2 drops last week. I mean, we're a week away from Quinn having 4 first half touchdowns passing, and it should have been 5. DeAndre dropped that one at the end of the half.
And he had that dot to Bolden where he did escape the pressure finally.
Well, that was an amazing throw. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because, like, you'll be mad at Quinn, right? Because he's not reading the pocket well, or you know, missing on Gunnar Helm. And then, like, when you see Quinn fight for it and make the play, then we drop it, you know? And so it's like, man, guys, like, if we know Quinn's kind of struggling because comparatively, like Michigan, like, that means everybody else has to be P's and Q's. Like, this offense doesn't pick each other up, you know, and that's what's kind of frustrating there.
Yeah, it's the opposite of the defense where, like we said, you know, Leon Lafau overruns a few plays, but it doesn't matter because everybody else is in the right place. Or, you know, Jalen Gilbo played with poor leverage at times. Didn't matter because team pursuit was so strong.
Yeah. Can we get Joe Cook to pay a visit to Kern? Need a checkup from the punting guru to get that punting average up. This is the big problem too. Non-complimentary, man. If the offense is struggling, we need the punting to be good, and it's not. And on the flip side, when the punting's not good, we need the offense to get better too, because you need to help each other there. Something's got to give, because you're going to get caught in a field position battle again like Georgia, and you're going to lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was frustrating. I mean, those punts were not going anywhere. I tell you what, special teams has taken some shrapnel this year, but they did a great job covering that reverse kickoff. They were not fooled by that, and they shut that down immediately. So that was a good play. But yeah, you keep expecting the field to be flipped, and the ball's not going anywhere.
Eric was actually campaigning for this as well, holding back that jumbo package for A&M little brother. So yeah, Eric felt strongly about this. He just had to let it out on Twitter. So let him know what you're thinking.
Yeah, bring it back, man. I mean, it's going to give the run game a boost. And like Connor said, the run game's not terrible. In fact, I thought Sark could have gone with it. But yeah, that'd be the perfect game to bring it back. Put him in number 12. You know, get Malik Agnew, put him in number 12, and you know, give A&M the business.
Yeah, I actually agree. Bring it back.
I think
they ran the ball when they had to the other day. Yeah, we've kind of just like, the running game's not great. We're so used, dude. We've had like such special running backs just back to back to back. We've gotten spoiled. Having like a 50th ranked or 49th ranked rushing defense is above average. Like, this is kind of a normal thing to have. Yep. And if our offense doesn't work when we have a slightly above average run game, we need Bijan Robinson. Well, I got bad news for you guys. It's not going to go well.
All right.
There's not a lot of those growing on trees. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we have a bad running game. Yeah.
No.
His feet in pocket presence brings out too many negative plays.
Yeah, he self-backs too much. You know, that's and a lot of times there's the pocket to step up. You know, but there's times he did step up in the pocket too.
He did.
And that, like we said, that play to Bolden, which that was a tough catch to make, very tough, but that was just an amazing throw.
That's what's more frustrating. Like, I think I would be more comfortable with just a quarterback that I know is just chugging along and like doesn't make any elite plays, but doesn't do that. Quinn will show you like really special stuff, and then he'll trip over Cam Williams in the pocket. So it's like you're just like getting these polar kind of opposites, which is tough to evaluate and tough for fans, right? Because you have the argument of like the bench Quinn guys, they can point to tripping over Cam in the pocket, and then you can Quinn's a god camp where they're like, look what he did with Bolden. Bolden dropped it. So both sides have this ammo. Averaging, it's like no one can agree because each side's only looking at the good or the bad. When really, when we look, it averages out to a pretty good quarterback.
Definitely. Especially look at the throw to Golden, he rolls out and hits him where only he can catch it. It's like, okay. Well, he steps up and throws a bullet to Helm, got the flat and like the curl working concept. And it's like, man, he fired it in between two defenders. Like, okay, Quinn, let's go, And then, but it's up and down. But then what side you want to kind of balance on, either you hate him or you love him. Like, nobody can be in the middle for some reason.
They're somewhere in the middle. Eric, you don't get to comment on this because you're a 49ers fan, so I'm sure you might like that draft choice, huh?
I want the Rams to take him.
I agree. The system would be really helpful.
Yeah, and he can sit behind Stafford a little bit. And then you've got Sean McVay, which is going to. I think Sean McVay obviously he's going to know Sark's innermost thoughts on Quinn. And if he takes him, that'd be a great sign. But yeah, he would have time to learn. There's a lot of struggling young quarterbacks right now. And then you look at a guy like Jordan Love, who I think he's been a little up and down too, but I mean, him being able to sit behind Aaron Rodgers had to work wonders for him. So I hope he goes, so much about being a quarterback is luck. It's fortune, good timing or bad timing. Archie Manning is an entirely different quarterback if he goes to a good team. Joe Montana is probably not Joe Montana if Bill Walsh doesn't draft him. It's all about timing and it's out of his hands. That's to a certain extent.
You have to go system, man. I almost don't want to go as an early round quarterback because they're just chewing up quarterbacks right now. I'd rather go 25th to like a good org, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, dude, going first overall just seems like career suicide at sometimes now. Like, that system's not working how it's supposed to. We're just crushing young NFL quarterbacks. It becomes a lottery of like, hope I get in a good system that can maximize me, because otherwise they're going to Bryce Young me and, throw me away because I have no O-line. So it's tricky, man. I've just never seen a perfect quarterback. When we get one, I'll be able to judge them harshly like some people are. I can get that sentiment too, but also like you can evaluate a quarterback. Just because they're not perfect, right? I mean, that's what being a scout is. That's what Inside Texas covering recruits are. We're doing evaluations, So it's like, it's okay to evaluate a quarterback. You don't have to blindly say they're great if they're not playing great. You also don't have to blindly talk noise too, and cherry pick either. We just don't need to be on extremes. We can believe our eyes though. If we can provide it with tape of what we saw and a mistake, then let's talk about it. It doesn't have to be this kind of like polar, but also, man, Texas fans and quarterbacks, like, name a better duo. I mean, we can't help ourselves, man.
Exactly.
I can't wait for like Arch to miss the throw and then the Trey Owens camp shows. Like, it's incredible, man.
Right.
It's incredible what we do with quarterbacks here. Love y'all's insight. It's good hearing y'all's perspective, providing substance and contrasting the more emotional fan perspective. Appreciate it, John A. Latest on Jamie French. We talked about that earlier in the show, Jacob Bland, so go check it out. It'll be right there for you. Whenever the live's over, you can just watch the normal video. We hit that. Did we hit the super chat?
No.
Okay, Quinn is an average quarterback. People expected Superman and got Clark Kent. So the sentiment here, I think, right, you get a number one quarterback overall. I think we set the standard really high. And so that's also, I think, part of the frustration, right? You think you're getting number one. I also think Quinn shouldn't have played so good versus OU year one. I think that like screwed with everybody's mind too, when he was dealing. So I agree with some of the fan frustration. Some fans are looking at this as blank slate. Quinn's pretty good. Some fans are looking at this as, hey, I thought we bought like our first overall pick. And so I think everybody's just coming from different places here, and no one's like setting the ground rules for how we talk about Quinn.
Well, he did himself no favors in September either. I mean, he played very well.
Yes.
Michigan.
That quarterback against the quarterback we saw against Michigan was just, you think that guy's going to go top 3 and contend for the Heisman, maybe win the Heisman. And it's not because Michigan was bad. Their defense is fine. But it was just it's the traits. You saw him moving up in the pocket. I mean, he's throwing no-look passes for crying out loud. We just haven't seen enough of that guy, but we know it's there because he's shown it to us.
Yeah. Texas does not have the running offense that Longhorn Nation expected, especially considering how great the Texas offensive line was supposed to be. I get expected, but we're also like our expectation, like our Rojo, Jonathan Brooks, and Bijan. Like
exactly.
We're coming back to earth a little bit, guys. Like that, what we did with at running back is not normal. But I do agree, David. Like you're saying, look, man, we have a NFL talented line that's in fourth year. Like we should be able to move the ball, right? So I get that too. But we've just never really been a great rushing team, like blocking wise. Now Bijan could do like a backspin and hurdle 6 guys, and
exactly.
Like,
a lot of people miss.
We would lead constantly. Texas would lead the country in missed tackles forced. That's another stat that sounds good. That's not a good stat. I don't want my running back having to make people miss all the time. I want wide open holes, It's like last year when everybody was like, Bert Auburn just broke the field goal record. Great. That means we're awful in the red zone. That's not a good stat, So if we're having to break tackles constantly, that's a hint to let you know that our running backs are like having to overproduce. I'd like to see Texas rush for closer to 200 yards per game rather than 162. Texas is currently ranked 64th nationally in rushing offense. Yeah, in total, they're 49th in the country in yards per rush, which I like to look at more, right? Because if you rush more, you get higher yards. If you rush less, you get higher yards. So let's look at individual attempts, and they're 49th at getting about 4.6 yards per carry.
You got to think Sark mixes in the screen game, right? The bubble screen, the quick screens with the running games, like extensions of it. So he finds different ways, to kind of cover up for the run. And they do a good job of it, especially with Isaiah Bond. Trust me.
Yeah. I've never understood how kicking the ball is hard. That's literally all you do at practice. That is, with special teams, like in punters and stuff, I agree. Like that's all you're doing, like
he missed time with a hamstring, right? Maybe that's taking some power out.
Yeah. But I mean, you're just practicing one motion since high school.
Hey, didn't you guys appreciate him a lot more watching the other punter?
Dude, when Arkansas nailed that 8-yarder.
Yeah. That was terrible.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Do y'all think Quinn had a mediocre game due to preparing for a different defense than what they got? I feel like as if it's not getting enough attention. What do y'all think? No, that was a few years ago. They knew that they were going to get a 3-2-6 versus, they played it versus Tennessee. Everybody knows that they play that 3 high. So,
yeah, and guys got open. I think they prepared pretty well for what they thought they would see. He saw guys open multiple times. So it's not like Arkansas threw something spectacular at them that they would not expect whatsoever.
Yeah. Special teams as a whole hasn't been good this year. Field goal kicking hasn't been very good. Punt blocking hasn't been good. Texas has returned a punt or hasn't returned a punt or a kick for a touchdown. It could go on. Yeah, clearly, just kind of across the board, we're having a weird year on special teams.
Well, we've talked about that a lot on Inside Texas. They had to, rob Peter to pay Paul. Trey Wiseman was supposed to take the Keelan Robinson role. Yeah. And he wasn't able to do that because of the injury situation at running back. So then they had to put Ryan Niblett there, and Niblett's been okay, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing. You've seen like a little bit of a drop off, pretty much down the line. Jordan Whittington's not on special teams anymore. Keaton Crawford was very good on special teams. He's gone. So yeah, there's been a little bit of a drop off. But it's going to be fine long term. And they've been close to house in punts. They've been close to house in kicks. It just hasn't come to fruition, and they've had too many penalties. But I'm not super worried about it. Jeff Banks is as good as it gets in that regard, and they'll figure it out.
People are expecting perfection. LOL. I want to see their performance evals at their jobs. Once again, I think we're kind of pointing whoever the other side is like very concrete. No, I've not heard anybody expecting 100% completion rate. I think they're expecting like don't miss the gunner helm throw, hit some deep shots. That'll help the offense, these kind of things. Also, these are younger guys now, but Quinn's a millionaire, guys, to play Texas in football. We're not just picking on young guys now. Like they're being handsomely compensated now. There's kind of a different way you have to think about this. It's not just like, how we were robbing kids with just scholarships and screwing them over. It's like they're being compensated to play at a high level. All right. Ark had an extra week to prepare. They did. Texas was never losing the game, held Ark to 10 points, and won the game by 10 points. On to beat Kentucky week.
There we go.
Yeah, I like
Kentucky,
that.
man. They're fun. They're fun on the breakdown. That's a horrible, horrible offense they have at Kentucky, but they're going to try to play. Basically, they try to play what Vandy does, except Vandy beat them. So it's kind of a Vandy style, but they're going to try to drag us into the mud. I'm trying to catch up with all these, and then we can roll out of here. Trying to avoid people arguing about Quinn amongst each other.
Oh my gosh.
Would we be having the Quinn conversation at 9-1 if Arch Manning wasn't there? No, for sure not. I think a lot of the negativism regarding Quinn Ewers is related to his recruiting ranking. That was probably not a practical or reasonable ranking for him to be a perfect recruit. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I addressed that earlier. I think that set expectations at a lower spot.
Jay.
Quinn didn't pick his rating. He's playing like a good to great QB to me. It's just inconsistency. You can't be great and inconsistent, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean,
And
you look at the last two national
hypothetical.
champions, they're both bus drivers. You look at Michigan's QB, and then you look at Georgia's quarterback. They weren't lighting up. Like, they're like game managers, right? You know, we put all these expectations on Quinn to just go out there and throw for 400, 500 yards.
Quinn's not throwing picks, though, which is nice. That's important.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's the difference with old Beck. Quinn looks like a newborn giraffe in the pocket. Yeah, he can look a little bit unathletic at times. All that money doesn't buy them maturity. They're still 18 to 22. Yeah, but you can also look at Jahdae Barron. There's plenty of mature kids on the team too. There's going to be a spectrum, but you can also be mature at 18 to 22. They're not going to be very great at it, but there's players that have that ability. More than 30. Okay, defense should not give up more than 13 versus Kentucky.
10.
Yeah, I mean it's a really bad offense. So
Yeah.
Hopefully they already got their upset of the year. They got Ole Miss, right? And
Yeah.
they nearly got. They should have beat Georgia. Georgia had to win that one in the fourth quarter. So they've got a pretty good defense.
yeah. On the productive side, Wisner's averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and Blue is averaging 5.1. Thought Blue's been playing better.
He's running through arm
You still got to carry the rock all week, though. You still got to carry it. It's not about if they recover; it's about if you fumble. That was a scary moment.
And he said he didn't see the guy creeping up. It was like, dude, carry the ball up high, tuck it away.
Yeah.
Not about if you can see him or not. You always have to watch it because that's what they'll get you. We literally don't need spectacular stats, but he's been better. So why the regression? I think that's what has fans frustrated. If we knew, we'd tell you, man. Tennessee Longhorn. If we knew what was causing it. Blue has looked really good in the last two games. All right, any final points, guys? We finally caught up. You guys were active today. Appreciate it. Any final questions for Eric or Coach on recruiting? If not, we're going to run out of here. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds to get them in if y'all need them. But, yeah, on to Kentucky. They're not a very great offense. The defense, which started off the season really, really strong, is kind of fading backwards as well. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Kentucky, especially when we're at home, right? The trick is just don't get caught, don't get driven into the mud because they are number 2 in the country in time of possession. So they are going to take that away from us and try to slow us down. So we're going to have to be super efficient on offense when we do get our shots. All right, Eric, Coach, appreciate you. Fans, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for participating. It was fun chatting with you guys. It always is. Come back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Me and Paul will be breaking down everything Kentucky. You'll know that team inside and out by the time we're done talking about them. Hook 'em.